Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to Isha Training Solutions. Hope my voice is audible for everyone. Please confirm the same in the chat, guys, please. Hope my voice is audible. Everybody able to hear my voice?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. We'll give 2 more minutes also. Learners are joining. We will give 2 more minutes and then we'll start our day one session. Yeah. So we'll start our discussion, day one discussion we will do. I'll quickly open the course content. So uh, yesterday also I mentioned we are not going to straight away jump into the detailed topic. We will go with basic foundation level understanding and then we'll move into the JMeter tool discussion. That is what we discussed, right? So first of all, actually the first topic is performance testing, but I'll give a little more introduction and then we'll come to this point. Okay. So how in industry these projects, things, how they are getting service level contracts and everything, right? That I'll explain and then I'll exactly come to performance testing side. Okay. So usually what happens, these companies, the large companies where they have certain requirements, they'll float something called as RFPs. Okay, RFPs, RFP. Okay, request for proposal. They'll share across industry leading service players. Okay, example this PTS, TCS, Infosys. All these people are actually service vendors, right? So with them they will share the details basically. So these service vendors, what they will do, they'll go through that RFP document in and out. They will go through the document and they will understand, okay, what exactly customer is expecting, what requirement is actually available. Certain times the requirement may be a development requirement, certain times it may be a testing requirement, certain times it may be a support requirement. Like that, they will give different requirements. Okay, so based on that only, the service vendors, they will give back that solution document. They mention that as solution document. Okay, so example, TCS. TCS, they wanted to get testing related projects, means they will provide proposal solution document. Similarly, Infosys, they are trying to get more of development projects, means they'll send back development related solution document. So that is how every every service vendors, they will send their solution document based on the document requirement. Okay, requirement. They will send back that solution, be it like development solution, testing, infrastructure monitoring, support, more into that. Once all the replies are written documents reviewed by the customer, okay, received by the customer, what they will do, they will go through the best replies from each of the service vendors, because they have to have the concrete belief that this customer will successfully deliver their project, right? So they'll go through the solution document provided by each of the vendor. In that solution document, usually what will be there, how we will do our development, how we will do our testing, how many people required, what cost involved, what tool involved, what service involved. Like that, every bit of detail will be there in the document. Okay, once customer is getting that confidence, okay, looks like this document is actually good, but I wanted to really understand my requirement is properly received by the service vendor, and I wanted to discuss certain key points with them. So what the customer will do, they will invite probably 3 to 5 vendors for the defense presentation. Okay, 3 to 5 vendors for the defense presentation. So what these service vendors will do, on a specified day, they'll go there and then they will do their presentation, and they will answer for whatever the question raised by the customer. Based on the positive customer presentation done by the service vendor, they'll get the projects. Okay, this is a chain of activity usually will happen. Here and there, probably a small changes will be there, but regular procedure is this one. This is how every project people are working on, and this is how people are getting development projects, testing projects, like that. So sometimes, if a development come testing project is actually reviewed by the service vendor, in that only they'll keep different type of testing also. Okay. Yeah. Can anybody say what are all the different type of testing that you guys are aware of? What are all the test types?
Load test, stress test, soak
No, no,
test.
no, not in the exactly performance testing side. I'm talking about in general on the application side. What are all the tests we do?
Black
Manual
box
testing,
testing.
automation
Functional
testing.
Yeah,
testing. Functional and non-functional testing.
yeah, very good, very good. So manual testing, automation testing, and all we are talking, right? So those they'll add it in their proposal document, and we will do manual testing with so and so people. We'll do automation testing with so and so people, like that. They'll add it. That is the reason I'm asking this question. So usually there are two aspects we are talking about, right? One is functional part of the application. Another one is non-functional part of the application. Okay, functionality and non-functional part of it. Non-functional is actually your what? Speed, stability, all those things are actually non-functional part of it, right? So functional part of it means how your application is basically working. If I click something, how it is working. I'm submitting something, how it is working. I'm loading one page to another page, whether the intended information is actually loaded. All those things are actually comes under what? Functional testing. Functionality is actually working or what? Login is working or what? Search is working or what? Okay. Some submission is actually working or what? Logout is actually working or what? That is actually called as what? Functional testing. That is actually called as functional testing, checking the functionality of the application. But that functionality can be validated in what are all the way? Manual way, automation way. Okay, manual way, automation way. So manual in the sense like I am going to manually navigate to each of the pages in the application, and I am validating whether the image loaded properly, button loaded properly, functionality working fine. Like that, I'm going to check in each and everything, right? That is actually functional testing manually. Functional automation testing means what? I'm going to use certain tool. Through the tool, I'm going to validate the functionality. What this tool will do, it will execute the test case 1, pass, test case 2, pass, test case 3, pass, like that the tool will do. Okay, this functional tool will do. Okay, so most of the time, I think many would have heard about this manual testing and automation testing only a lot. Usually people will get more into these informations only. Okay, but there are other okay, there are other aspects also there, which is the non-functional testing. So usually this non-functional testing, what are all the testing people are doing? Usability testing, compatibility, security, accessibility, and then performance. So these are the non-functional testing people are regularly doing. Okay, people are doing non-functional testing. These type of testing people are doing regularly. Okay, so what is this usability testing? How usable your application is. How user friendliness. You are not doing small things in a complicated way. Your application is very user friendly. Anybody can come and do it. That kind of a thing, if you are having, that is the usability testing. Compatibility testing means what? Whether my application is compatible in so and so version of the browser, or so and so version of the OS, or so and so version of the device, I mean Android, iOS versions. Okay, so which means to check my application is actually compatible with so and so version of browser and operating system or what. Okay, so that is something we are doing it in the compatibility testing. So compatibility testing very important, because I don't know how many of you faced this kind of a problem. There are application when you are trying to install, uh, it will not allow you to install it in your handset, means which means your device is not compatible. So that is something you are doing it in the compatibility testing. Okay, so that is also one important testing people will do. And then security testing, everybody aware, right? Whether my application is safe and secure. uh, Static, dynamic attack somebody is doing, DDoS attack somebody is doing, like that people will check it using the security testing. Accessibility testing, it is like people with disabilities, right? Uh, like they are having eye problem, ear problem. For those people, how they can easily use your application? What provision that you are having it in your application for those people? That is actually called as accessibility testing. Okay, I don't know how many of you observed in your keyboard, in your computer keyboard or laptop keyboard, exactly in the J button. In the J button, there will be a small projection will be there. Small projection will be there, because those are having eye, those who don't have eyes, right? For those people, they will touch it and feel that is actually a J button kind of. Okay, so that is actually one of the accessibility feature. So like this, what accessibility feature that is available in your application, so that these people can easily use your application. That is accessibility testing. Finally, our topic, our focus area, performance testing is also a primary thing that you have to validate it. Every application, it has to go through the performance testing cycle once, stating your application is actually working smoothly without having any performance trouble. Okay, so this performance testing, um, um, uh, in general, in a theoretical way, if somebody is asking, you can say checking the stability of the application under various workload condition. Yeah, sorry. So checking the stability of the application under various workload conditions. In general, okay, in a layman term, that is the definition. Okay, so performance testing, we wanted to check how our system is actually working. Okay, not for single user condition, maybe for a different user condition, how it is actually working. Say, example, 50 user when they are coming to my application, how my application is actually working. 50 user simultaneously when they are coming to my application, how my application is actually working. So for that, I cannot recruit 50 people, ask them to sit in a common room, and then ask them to simultaneously log in into my application, kind of testing and all. I cannot do it. Give me a second. Yeah, sorry. So I cannot make 50 users sit in a common room and then do the testing, right? So that is the reason the concept of performance testing tool is actually comes into picture. It is like simulating your conditions, like how 50 user when they are hitting the application, or how 100 user when they are hitting the application, how our application is working, right? That we wanted to test it using the performance testing tool. For that only, there are different tools in the market. One is LoadRunner, JMeter, Load, Performance Center, Gatling, K6. Like that, there are different tools are available in the market. In that, LoadRunner, last few years it was leading the market, but now the mindset of the people changed. Even customer, they started thinking like, why I have to invest so much of money for the licensing cost itself? Instead, I can use any open source tool like JMeter tool, and I can only pay for the uh, service cost. Person who is actually doing that activity, right? For them alone, we can pay money. So other than that, we don't want to pay anything for the tool licensing cost. That is the reason nowadays every customer, they started preferring to use Apache JMeter tool. I'll take a pause here, guys. Any question till now? Whatever we discussed, any question?
Yeah, hi, Sran. Can we do security testing with JMeter?
See, security testing, it's a procedure. Okay. I would say a process and procedure. It is like penetrating some fault, some issues into your code, into your application, how your application is actually behaving for that. That is actually your security testing. So I don't think JMeter is really, I mean, specifically required for this requirement. It is something that you can do it manually also. Okay. Any other question, guys?
Yeah, this is Yogesh. So how we can choose that LoadRunner and JMeter for the different requirements, kind of like banking domain, we choose for LoadRunner or JMeter, which one is preferred? How we can choose it?
Yeah, very good question, Yogesh. Actually, I told you, right, 5 years, 10 years before and all, LoadRunner was leading the market because of this reason only. Those days, what happened? People had a mindset: open source tool will create problem. That was the case those days. Open source tool will create problem. Something will happen if I'm installing open source tool in my application stack. I don't know how that open source tool is actually written. They may be having some catch. They will take my code. Like that, people were thinking those days. Because of that reason only, bringing a simple open source tool inside the organization, you need to go through a lot of procedures, lot of documentations and everything those days. And that is the reason LoadRunner was taking the advantage those years. Everybody started buying LoadRunner license because that is a commercial tool, and anything happen to your source code or anything happen to your application, you have a non-disclosure agreement signed with the vendor. So anything happen, you can file a case against him, and you can get compensation and all, right? So that is the reason people usually bought LoadRunner license those days. But after few years, people started understanding, no, these open source tools, over the period, we did not hear any negative things about them. They are not creating any problem. Because of installing open source tool, we are not specifically going through any issues like that. People started understanding, and then only they started implementing or installing open source tool in their stack also. Okay. So now, even banking customers and now, even banking customers and insurance customers, they are also interested to install this open source tool, and they are doing performance testing using this Apache JMeter tool. Okay, there is no issue happened in the recent times. Nobody reported any security violations or anything. So that is how it's happening. But there are protocols. Example, there are protocols like Citrix protocol, or Siebel protocol, SAP protocol, or Oracle e-business protocol. There are unique protocols that are there. Those protocols, people still they are preferring to use LoadRunner because they have the success story. Okay, they have the success story, and they are having dedicated protocol for each of these things, whatever I mentioned. But JMeter, they are they are compatible to an extent, but you need to do a proof of concept before POC you have to do before committing to the customer. I'm not saying like all these protocols are not at all supported. It's there, and there are plugins are even available, but before committing to customer, people are doing a small POC, and then they are committing to the customer. But still, in my personal experience, if it is Citrix kind of it, or Siebel kind of it, you can still prefer to go to LoadRunner also, because they are not that completely compatible kind of a situation. But in industry, if you take an example, 100% of the projects that you are taking, probably 0.5 or 1% of the projects only, other than web protocol. Okay, HTTP protocol. Other than HTTP protocol is probably 0.5% or 1% of the project only are there. So in that situation, you don't really worry about whether JMeter will not support, Citrix will not. No, we don't want to think about that, because the project count itself very, very less other than HTTP protocol. Most of the applications in the world is actually a web application, and then HTTP protocol only we are using. So in that case, JMeter is actually very much useful. But when it comes to corner protocol, maybe we can prefer using LoadRunner also. That time, no other go, we need to purchase the license and then use it. But if it is a plain vanilla web application, we can still use Apache JMeter itself.
Yeah,
Clear?
okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks. But initial stage, so my question, one more question for the same, continue for the first question. So initial stage of the project, okay, I'm the POC person, okay. So depends upon that tool only we are going to POC, we are going to do it. So based on that application, for example, banking domain is there, healthcare domain is there. So what difference between the two domains, how the tools I can able to choose it? For example, banking domain in some protocols, some you told before, some protocols they are going to handling for the load runner, but so kind of the load runner I can choose it for the banking domain, healthcare domain I can prefer for JMeter. So what is the difference between the both domains I can choose it for both tools? Is there any specific terms we can able to segregate?
No, there is no specific things and all. That's what I'm trying to say. This banking customers or insurance customers also still preferring to use JMeter nowadays. I'm saying, provided what testing you are doing is actually matters. Okay, you are doing a normal web application, any tool is fine, right? So for normal web application, why I have to pay lakhs and lakhs of money to get the web protocol license from LoadRunner team and then do it? But what customer they are thinking, it is a plain web application. For that, why I have to get this much of license cost and then I have to do performance testing? Rather, I'll use a JMeter tool which is free of cost, and then I can do performance testing. So that is a mindset of the customers also. Whether what investment that I'm doing, whether it is worth to do that much of an investment or what. This particular protocol is nowhere available. No other go. I have to purchase the license. In that case, you can go for LoadRunner license. That is a customer mindset nowadays. Okay, nowadays customer will ask you a number of questions before doing any investments. So in that case, based on the project, we can comment on whether to go with LoadRunner or with JMeter.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, sorry. Any other question, guys? Okay. So what is performance testing? Right now, I told you, checking the stability of your application under various workload conditions. Because as a single user, you cannot validate everything, right? Even developers, when they are developing itself, they cannot validate everything. You have to go through this type of testing. Then only under heavy load, how your application is behaving, you can get it. Okay, as a single user, if you are navigating also, yes, to a certain extent you can find the load time and all, but there are issues will come only because of the concurrency. Only because of the concurrency, there are issues will come. Okay, in real time, when you are having 100 user, that time maybe your system is unable to handle 100 user because of the CPU, because of the memory, because of anything. But only if you are using 100 user only, you can encounter that problem itself. If you are using one user, sometimes you cannot even reproduce certain issues. Okay, that is a scenario. Okay, if somebody is asking like why we are going for performance testing, you have to answer like this. Because there are certain issues, it will only come if you are using multiple users only. Your example, your system is having so and so resources. Resources in the sense like what? So and so CPU, so and so memory that is available in your machine. That time, if you are overloading with multiple users, if your CPU and memory is not sufficient, then only it will create problem. As long as you are using it like a one user, it may not create a problem, because for one user it will smoothly work. The memory usage and CPU usage is actually smooth. Because of that, you are not going to encounter any problem. But when you are increasing the user load from 50 to 100, 100 to 200, that time your memory resources or your CPU resources is not sufficient. then only you are going to face issues. That time only your system will crash. That time only your memory will crash. Like that, things will happen. That you can identify only through performance testing only. Clear, guys? Everybody? Yeah. Type of performance testing. Okay. See, actually, there are different type of testing that are available, but these types, if you know, that is more than sufficient. Okay. These type of testing only commonly used in the industry, and people will ask questions related to that as well. Okay. So it's good that if you are logically explain what is this test type, basically what you will do in the test type. There are technical questions around this type of test itself. During interview, definitely people will check how you have strong understanding with respect to performance testing. They'll ask few questions in this section itself. Okay. So first of all, I explain load test means what. This is the proper definition for load test. Maybe in different places you may find different definitions, but when you are telling this particular sentence, that is the apt answer for load test means what? Testing the application with the expected user load. This is a keyword. This is a keyword. Expected user load is a keyword. Okay, whenever we are answering for load test definition, expected user load is a keyword. Okay, what is this expected user load? What I am expecting in production, how many user I am expecting in production when the actual user using my application, I am expecting how many user will use my application. That is actually the expected user load. Example, I'm expecting 200 user will use my application in the real time after deploying into production. 200 user will use my application like that. If I'm expecting, means that is the load. For that we are going to do load testing. Okay, load testing for that condition, if you are testing, that is a load testing load condition. Okay, expected user load. So during interview, people will ask additionally one more question. Say like there are two types of applications are there. There are two types of application. One is existing application. Another one is new application. New application and existing application. So what is new application? What is existing application? Existing application means what? That application is already there in the production. End users are using that application already. For that application, we are going to do performance testing. That is the existing application. Existing application means that application is already there in the production. End users are already using that application. For that application, I got the requirement to do performance testing. Okay, that is the existing application. For existing application, what benefit that we are having? Because it is already available in production, there are production monitoring tools that are already there means, there are production monitoring tools that are already there means, I can use that production monitoring tool logs and I can easily understand what is a transaction happen, what frequency of transaction happen, how many people are regularly coming, what transaction that they are performing, what volume of data that they are dealing. Like that I can easily get it because that application is already there in the production and that application is already monitored by certain production monitoring tool, so that it is easy for me to get the data. That is for existing application. Okay, the interview question how they will ask, for new application, for new application, how will you come up to that expected user load? That is the question. Usually they wanted to ask which is little different, right? So they'll ask like, for new application, how will you calculate or how do you derive that expected user load? The answer is we will have a discussion with the stakeholder, architects, consultants, business analyst, everybody with all the relevant people will have a discussion, and we will do some assumption. That is the answer. We will do some assumption. We will do some assumption. This is the number of users that I'm expecting in production, and for that user load condition, if we are doing testing, that is where the expected user load is actually considered. That is for what? For new application. Why for new application we are doing in this way? Because that is a brand new application. Now only we are going to deploy into the production. In that case, there is no history of information available for that application. Brand new application, no history of information. In that case, only what we are going to do? We are going to have a call with the stakeholder, architects, consultant, business analyst, and everybody, and we are going to discuss and come to a conclusion, and we'll do some assumptions stating like this is the number of users that I'm expecting in production after deploying this new application into the production. This application into the production. I'll take a pass here. Guys, any question till now?
I have a question, Sarvana. For an instance, as we discussed, this is a brand new application, and as an assumption, we considered some 300 users, okay, in the production we were expecting. For an instance, like in the when it is in production, if there is a spike in the users, suppose it has doubled almost 200 times, some 600 users are accessing the application, and we have observed a performance deterioration. So like how it will be handled? So what is the next steps to be taken?
See, not only load test, Praveen, there are other types of tests also there. So there is something called scalability test is there. Scalability testing is actually a future load condition. Don't worry, I'm going to explain that. But future load condition, and then there is something called stress testing. Stress testing is for 2x, 3x load. We will. So there are
Yeah,
other test types.
Sarvana, one question. Like initially, only the load test has been performed on the application. Okay, the capacity planning wasn't been done, and project architects weren't expecting this high amount of load. Okay, in such circumstances, how we are going to handle the systems?
No, that is what I'm saying. Apart from load testing, there are other test types also you will do as part of the release cycle. That is actually called as stress testing, scalability testing. So load testing, if it is X user load, means stress testing you will do 2x, 3x load and all. So this miss will rarely only happen. It is not going to be a regular activity. The stress testing is actually 2x, 3x load and all you will test it. And the scalability testing is nothing but testing the future load also. So ultimately, not only you are going to cover load testing condition alone, you are going to cover other testing types also. So the probability of missing such scenario is very rare. That is what I'm trying to say. If it is missed also, no other go. Any high profiled applications also, outage is something that you cannot avoid it. In that situation, you need to increase your infrastructure configurations and then try to do some scaling activity, and then scaling activity, and then you have to go for it. But I'm saying those are end state. But other than that also, there are other type of testing which will help you to avoid this kind of a situation.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So for the learners who joined today for evaluating us, this is Kumar sir number. Okay, 9133190573. Okay, I'll copy paste this number in the chat. You guys can take it. I pasted in the chat. This is Kumar sir number. See, already we started the discussions and all, but for the learners who joined today for evaluating us, please reach out to Kumar sir, enroll yourself, and then because I'm not sure like when they will change the link. So you wanted to have a continuous learning without missing anything. Please, sorry, please enroll yourself for the session. As I mentioned yesterday, the same thing only for the new learners. I'm saying this is actually a weekday session. Monday to Friday, we are going to have the session 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST, and correspondingly in other location timing also 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we are planning to have 35 hours of session for JMeter learning. Everything is actually hands-on practical learning will be there. interview question, industry best practices, and everything we will discuss. Now also I started explaining related to that, but regularly in our all the other sessions also we will do the same thing. We will continuously discuss about what questions, how you will approach that question, what are all the frequently expected things from the customer. Like that we will discuss in a detailed way. Along with that, yes, obviously our different components in the JMeter and different activities that we are performing with respect to performance testing. All those things also we will cover it. And all these sessions are actually recorded. This session is also right now recorded, and we will share the video on a daily basis in YouTube playlist URL. And these videos you will be having it for lifetime access. Those who are enrolled for the session, you will be getting it for the lifetime access. Any number of times you can watch it, and then you can come back and ask your questions also. Okay, so I encourage everyone. I mean, during the session itself, I'm always encouraging you guys to stop me and ask the question. If in certain cases you watch the video and you got certain question also, not a problem. Next day you can come and ask the question, or you feel like no, in a forum I feel little shy to ask question. Not a problem. You can my number is there in the group, in our group itself, so you can reach out to me, call me, WhatsApp me, whatever. We will discuss offline and provide solution for all your queries. Okay, those who wanted to enroll for this course journey, please reach out to Kumar sir. 8019924227 is also another number. If you wish, you can reach out Kumar sir in this number also. 9133190573 is also another number. So you can reach out to Kumar sir for further information. Now probably it is, we started with the theoretical understanding of it, but from tomorrow, day after tomorrow, slowly we'll start our tool level concepts also. I mean tool setup. Basically, we'll start with the tool setup things, and then we'll start our learning. Basically, any question, guys? Yeah. So with this, we'll complete our session for today. Thanks for the learners who joined today for evaluating us. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I will continue the same in the upcoming sessions as well. Thanks all. Bye-bye.